Ready to go?
Let's do it.
Let's do this.
Rock and roll.
I'm in Philadelphia and I'm here to interview Micah today. Micah is going to be an amazing person to interview because he's just such a talker. He has a lot of insight. I know I say this about everybody, but I truly believe it about everybody. Micah was a bartender turned bar manager, and it's going to be real cool to see how that contrast has been for him. Like, how has he adjusted to a different position with more responsibilities. So let's go visit Micah and see what he has to say. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Barside Manner. Today I am with someone who is super special. Since I've known him, he has been a bartender, a trainer, now bar manager, soon to be food and beverage director. I'm so excited today to have this conversation with my ex-bar trainer, Micah!
How y'all doing today?
Hold up. This is where the clap effect goes.
Oh,
I wanted to last a little bit longer for you.
Gotcha.
All right. Take a moment of silence.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Micah, for joining me today.
Of course.
I can't wait. Let me take my sunglasses off. That's so rude. That's so rude.
That's okay. Listen, it's a sunny day. We get it.
It is. Wow. I have such sensitive eyes, too.
I understand that as a blue-eyed boy. I get it.
Close up on the blue eyes.
Yeah.
Wow.
We are in the beautiful city of Philadelphia today. Micah actually came from Pittsburgh and is currently getting adjusted to the city life. So how's that been for you so far?
Interesting. Definitely a different speed. Definitely a different pace, without a doubt. Pittsburgh's a real laid-back town, so Philadelphia has a lot more speed to it. So,
yes, for sure.
I'm definitely getting used to that, but I like it so far. I do. A lot's going on all the time. So.
It's definitely to me, it's kind of like the smaller version of New York.
I would agree with that. Having recently visited New York, I can definitely agree with that. It's got that quick pace, especially Center City. It's got that same vibe. It's got that Manhattan kind of feel to it without it being too many people.
Too many people?
If that makes sense. Yeah. New York's got that. No matter where you go, you just can't be alone.
Yes.
Which is
that's why everyone's so unapologetic, and I love
it. Yeah, most definitely. This is my space, and I'm fucking down with it. This is mine. So Pittsburgh's a little bit different, where it's a lot more country based.
Yeah. I've never been.
Oh no, yeah. Check it out. You can see the whole city in 2 days easily. Not huge, but definitely quiet, definitely relaxed. Terrible to navigate.
Okay, you trying to be my tour guide?
I'll show you all around. It's
awesome.
great.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
Many
I have it on video now.
I'll tell you what. That's it. I'm legally bound by now. This is a verbal contract.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's definitely got a different pace. Great food scene out there. Especially over the last couple of years, it's really been ramping up. A lot of really, really impressive stuff. A lot of our neighborhoods have been getting gentrified, but a lot of really cool stuff. Yeah, exactly. Most places, and most of it's just old neighborhoods that are being redone. Like in the 70s, the steel industry went out almost entirely, and there was nothing left to take it over. So the restaurant industry has kind of been filling that void, especially with tech jobs that have been coming there. Google's headquarters is there now, and Amazon headquarters there. So getting a lot of California tech jobs, and yeah, enormous. The space they picked out for it is probably the biggest set of buildings I've ever seen in my entire life, and that's even including New York. It's just massive warehouses that are probably 8 city blocks long, and there's 4 or 5 of them. They're right next to each other. It's almost jarring to see.
Oh, that's amazing!
Yeah,
I can't wait to see it.
It's definitely cool. That's out in the sticks, though.
Yeah,
a lot out in the sticks in Pittsburgh. So you've got the city proper, which is maybe let's say about the same size, or a little bit less size than Philadelphia, and everything around is vastly wooded area.
Amazing. Really I love that.
Yeah. Lots of forest everywhere, which we love.
I'm glad you mentioned, the restaurant industry kind of sticking out there, kind of saving the town from gentrification.
No, for sure. Yeah, it's got a lot of really cool history there. I don't know if you know who Lydia Bastianich is, or Joe Bastianich. If you ever see the show Chopped, the bald guy on Chopped. His mom had her restaurant there for about 35 years, 40 years. And
famous town.
Yeah. Absolutely fantastic Italian food. Really, really right in the center of it's called the Strip District, and really cool part of Pittsburgh where from Andy Brothers is from. That's where the local
Cool.
sandwich shop is.
Yeah, I can't wait
And
to check it out.
yeah, definitely worth your time for sure. Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited to start talking to you about, your history within the industry. Again, we met, what, 6, 7, 8 months ago?
8 months ago-ish about?
Something
Sounds
like
right.
that.
Yeah, 8 months sounds right.
Yeah.
I feel that.
And, when I first met Micah, I was like, this guy's such a personality. Literally, what I said in the beginning, we started training. Well, he was training myself and my group in the job that I was at previously. And Micah was an amazing trainer. That's why I'm like super excited to be able to interview him, because I just thought he was such a great guest.
Hey, yeah,
and I just know he's going to have a lot to say, because he had a lot to say during training.
I do. I talk a lot. That is
You're a
side effect of the industry.
Yeah.
Right?
You were very natural with it, so I think that really stuck with me.
Right. Like I think there's something that happens within our industry that like you get used to being uncomfortable or dealing with uncomfortable people really quickly, and to the point of like I try as fast as I can to break that discomfort to gain a familiarity with people really quickly, right? Because that's our idea, right? We're bridging the gap and making people like us.
Yeah.
Way, right? Like,
it's a great trait to have.
Yeah, I want us to come back, right? Like that's our whole deal. Is like I want people to come back and visit me specifically. Give me your money. We love that. We love come back and give me your money.
Of course, that's the ultimate goal.
It is, right? It's the job, but yeah, you also forge really good friendships with people, and there have been a lot of friends of mine that I've met while tending bar, where like you just started out as a regular guy sitting at my bar, and now we're like, here we are catching a game together and bullshitting, and now we're friends.
A lot of friendships are built throughout the bar industry.
Especially in this industry. Yeah, very much so. You don't not get to have a family while doing it. It's very much become second family, where like you're going through the trenches together, right? Like you're in that together, like not just a work family, but they become long-lasting friends.
Yeah.
And, my first restaurant family, I would say, the TGI Fridays family.
Is that where you started?
That's exactly. That's where I started in the front of the house side of it.
Okay, because that's where I actually wanted to get started with your, previous history in the bar industry. Like, how did you get started?
Yeah, for sure. So my family's kind of always been bar adjacent or restaurant adjacent. My parents are excellent cooks growing up, Greek and Italian, so a lot of pasta dishes in my youth, which lends to my stocky nature. They got us into it, man. Like that was it. Like we all had big personalities. My dad's a big personality. My mom's a huge personality.
And you're kind of just a mix between
them. Yeah. My dad's really friendly and kind, and my mom is a little bit more firm and Italian. You know what I mean? Short, 5'8", 5'2", and lots of spice. So
it means nothing personal against us shorter people.
No, nothing personal. Just a lot of spice. That's all. So my brothers being in the industry got me into it. So I started as a dishwasher when I was 15, and my first time doing chaw, like putting a dip in, and like I'm one of the guys. This is so much fun. The line cooks are like, yeah, man, come cuss with us. This is gonna be great. And I was like, so cool. I can say cuss words here. This is fantastic. And after that, I was like, this is a lot of fun. I actually am enjoying it. And then I started like bar backing and doing stuff like that when I got closer to 18, and all kinds of crazy stories with my brother, who was the bartender at the time, and I was the bar back, and another really big personality, the type of guy that would jump on the bar and dance and get everyone into the mood. And he was a character himself.
How was that working with your brother as his bar back?
It was both fun and not fun at the same time.
I'm sure.
It's like you obviously have that like intermix with family where like you're more intimate than most other people would ever be with someone, and like you can say stuff that you get away with that like other people would not dare to think to say. And I'm like, oh no, I'm going to say that, and I'm going to embarrass you as much as possible because like you're my brother, and I'm going to give you as much shit as possible. But honestly, it was a lot of fun because like while we would fight, we would also have the most insane stories, like like from my brother splitting off to get a BJ in the bathroom. You know what I mean? Like crazy stuff.
At Applebee's?
No. This was at a place called Jay's Sports Bar, a place that's no longer in business anymore. And my brother was just that kind of a big personality. He was the guy. You know what I mean? And like everyone would just, the moment we would walk into a room, everyone would be like, who's that? Oh my God, he's beautiful.
Oh, he's that guy.
Oh yeah. And had all the personality to back it up. And more than a few times pissed people off. And I definitely watched the bar fights happen afterwards. But I was 16 and I was like, this is insanity. You can do this stuff. You're like, this is Jerry Springer, but better. You know what I mean? I know everybody involved. It's so much
Right.
more fun. But yeah. No, he was just that guy, you know. So it was unique seeing him interact with people, and like I was like, you know, honestly, aside from the character flaws, I kind of want to be like that, you know what I mean? Because like the way he would just woo people, it was like people genuinely loved him, and like they still kind of do, and it's like, and you know, he rest his soul passed away like 7 years ago, and people still hit me up. They're like, dude, you know, I still think about your brother all the time, and I'm like, yeah, me too. I get it. That was just the world's personality, like right there. And
You know, that makes a lot of sense because that's exactly how I envision you behind a bar.
yeah, I mean, I took a big page out of that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the viewpoint for me was like, his fire is in my spirit too. You know what I mean? And it adds to me as I go forward. And so I do. I try to carry that with me as I go forward, as part of my personality.
Yeah.
And like, I think it fits comfortably with who I am.
So how have you grown since you first started to who you are now behind a bar?
Oh, hugely different, hugely different. I was very, very introverted when I was young. You know, that's why I was working as a dishwasher. I was like, this is, you know, I didn't interact with a lot of people. I was, you know, a video game dork. I was just, you know, kind of a shut in. And then, you know, I started interacting with people and I was like, this is way more fun than just playing video games. Like, I'm having a blast doing this. And I could feel like that energy well up with inside me while I was doing it, where like, this is it. This is the juice. This is what I love doing. You know, I mean, I love talking with people, and I love hearing their stories, and I love, you know, getting people to open up. And it's, you know, history kind of ever since of like just engaging. You know what I mean, and connecting with humanity. Because like, while people are different and weird, they're so intricate and beautiful at the same time. So like finding that and being able to pull that out of people has been hugely rewarding, and I think the best part of this industry, if I do say so.
So what's your like, how would I describe it? How do you pull that information out of people? Like, because there's so many different people that sit at a bar.
True.
Are you able to talk to different people no
Yeah,
matter what their personality is?
Yes and no. Because sometimes you have people that are just really cloistered and it's, you know, hard to, and they don't want to open up. But if they keep coming back, they do want to open up, right? So it's the understanding of human psychology a little bit, where you're like, you have to have a basic grasp of it to kind of feel people and read people. And it does come with it a huge side of like being able to diagnose people. You know what I mean? And like feel their energy. And I think, you know, being neurodivergent has that bonus of like, you can kind of gauge someone really quickly. You know what I mean? Where you're like, this person, there's something there. What's happening? And then like you crack a joke and they smile and they start coming back with it. And you're like, all right, there's something here. We can make this happen. They're going to come back all the time. And other times, you know, you have misses. And a majority of the time, you know, it's just like, I call it, you know, 5-second interactions where you're like, okay, what can I get you a drink, buddy? Absolutely. Yeah, here you go. Have a great day. Thank you so much.
Because some people genuinely don't want to be bothered when they're sitting at a bar.
Right, which is completely okay. And like, you recognize those people, and I like those people just as much, right? Having done this industry for so long, you're like, you start valuing those customers a lot more, where you're like, oh, thank God he doesn't want to talk today. Because like some days, you know, you're just not into it. You're like, today
you're not ready to be someone's therapist.
Right. Today is not the day. I'm dealing with my own stuff. I've got lots of stuff going on in my personal life, and like, I'm stressed out. I didn't sleep last night. More than likely, I'm hungover. Just because, like, you know, the lifestyle that comes with the industry. And like, you get to that moment of like, you run into that person who's just like, no, I don't want to do it today. And I'm like, cool, great. You and I are going to get along a lot today, because I'm going to sit over here. I'm going to read the newspaper. I'm going to drink coffee. And you're going to sit over there and do pretty much the exact same thing on your phone, and we'll be fine. And then like, you get the person that wants to do it and wants to interact, and you're like, okay, today I'm feeling like playing. Let's play the game. You know what I mean? And
both guests really appreciate that.
Right. Yeah.
It just
for
really
sure.
depends on what they're looking for.
It goes back to that reading and reacting kind of thing, right? Communication. Right. I learned a lot of good communications because I used to do door-to-door sales for a little bit, which was an absolutely terrible job.
I can only imagine.
It was,
especially this day and age.
Selling security systems in Texas, and if you know anything about Texas, everyone loves the guns down there. So like, a security system is a hard sell in a neighborhood like that. It
sure is.
Because the amount of times I've had like a shot, you knock on the door and they just answer the door with a shotgun, and you're like, Remington 12 gauge, I see, a man of class. And like, you start building these little behavioral comebacks, and you're like, I don't need a security system. You're like, who's going to protect that gun when you're not home? And you know, like, it's like a weird thing of like, just
how old were you when you did that?
26-ish, 25, 26.
Okay.
So I had already been in the industry doing the front side of it and had a little bit of personality, you know, under my belt. But after doing that, you really start like building up the barrier of your soul. You're like, oh, this stuff's not going to bother me. You know, let's get in there. Let's do the nitty gritty. I'm not going to take no for an answer. I'm digging in. I'm here to do my job. And it sucks that they might be feeling uncomfortable, but like, my job is to make them feel comfortable with me. right?
Yes.
So, which goes hand in hand with our industry, right? So that learning that communication of like opening people up, because again, some people really don't want to open up, and some people only want to open up because they need to be pressed about it.
Yes,
And you have to diagnose that that's the type of person you're dealing with, and sometimes it's worth it, and sometimes it's not. There have been loads of times where like just ignoring a person, they leave you a 25% tip, and you're like, he just wanted to be left alone.
He just wanted to be left alone.
And that's cool with me too.
And he's glad that you caught on to it.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, you learn just by body language and reading the room, right? Like of just looking at someone, seeing their eyes, seeing how they react to you, and to my comedy, because I always lead off with a little bit of a joke. You know, it makes it a lot easier. What's up, man? How you doing today? You having fun? You look like you're dressed for fun. All right, you're not? Okay, well, fuck it then. All right,
That's
going about
you?
our way.
All
That's
right.
cool. You want to be a dry piece of toast? Cool with me. That's fine. But you'll see the personalities come out immediately. If you get a little bit of sarcasm and you see someone be like, he's sarcastic, I can be sarcastic too.
Yes.
And they don't want to.
And now you're both having fun.
Right.
That's the great part.
Right. Oh, yeah. There was a long time where my spiel was like, someone would come up and order like an espresso martini, which, as you know, in our industry, you're like, oh, God damn it, this drink again.
Yes.
And people were like, I would just go, oh, fucking espresso martini, somebody else, anyone else get a drink order in. And they'd just like, fine, I'll do something else. I'm like, no, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding with you. I'll do it. No problem. I'll make you the best damn one you've ever had. Because like, for me, it was a matter of like, who am I as a person? I'm going to do this job. I'm going to do it right. Like, yes, I want personality. Yes, I want to have fun. But like, if someone genuinely wants a drink, I'm going to make it for them. You know, even if I think it's terrible.
How do you feel about tequila espresso martinis?
Gas, all gas, no breaks. Love that.
Really?
Big fan. Because I like tequila now as an adult when I didn't when I was younger. You know, so like, it goes together some way for me, especially a reposado in there. You know, where I'm like, I actually enjoy this kind of a punch in there. It's got like a little bit of fullness in that flavor that kind of does it for me. And I'm okay with it. Like,
maybe you have to make one for me because I'm very much anti-espresso martini. Sorry.
It's completely okay to be anti-espresso martini. In fact,
but I love tequila.
I strongly encourage you not to order an espresso martini or a mojito from your bartender. Please don't order either of those two things. But only because I'm lazy and I don't want to have to make those drinks. And you know how it is. Like, you've got certain drinks that are 3 ingredients and certain drinks that are 9 ingredients. And after a while doing it, or if you're really busy, I don't want to make a 9-ingredient drink. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to sit there muddling cherries and oranges. But here I am going to do it, and maybe begrudgingly, but like, you're still going to get a good drink because I'm not gonna, my credo has always been that, like, I'm still going to make you a solid drink. Like, I'm not going to let you go out there with like thinking my work was bad just because I'm not into it. But like, I've had the same conversation with my tattoo artist, right? Like, I'll do the tattoo. I don't like it, but I'm at work and I want to get paid, and this is my job, and I'm going to go through it, and I'm going to do a good job because my work reflects me, right?
Yeah, so, I like that comparison. That makes total sense.
Yeah, it's because it is an art form. I've thought that for a long time. That bartending is an art form, and like, you get that chance to really do something fun, and you're like, I'm going to take this opportunity, and like, I'm now at the point where I've done all the cool fun stuff, and I just want to make you a drink and let's have a conversation.
Well, what's in between? So you started at TGI Friday. And
Sure. So I've done a lot of corporate work. TGI Friday is obviously being the start of it for the front of house, and I was mostly a server there and entirely a smack off, and had a lot of fun while doing it. Less than sober, more than often than not. And after that, I moved to a company called Anthony's Coal Fired Pizza, which was restaurant pizza shop / bar. It had like this weird mix of a martini bar and a pizza shop had a baby. And so it had like classiness, but also it's a pizza shop, so I don't take it too seriously. And then a lot of mom and pop shops in between, where you get a lot of free range to mess around, and your manager will let you make the cocktail list if you want to. And I had a talent for it, so I was like, yeah, I'll build a few menus across the board. And you pick up a lot, and you start reading a lot, and you start reading some books about like how to break down a drink. Whether it's a ratio beverage like 5-3-1, where you're making a 5 count of a specific liquor, a 3 count of a mixer, and then a 1 count of a juice or something like that to kind of give it flavor.
What was your favorite spirit to work with?
I've always loved bourbon as a drinker, but as far as like making cocktails, if it's girls, I'm using rum. Because like, more often than not, if a girl comes to the bar, she wants something sweet. I'm like, I know what to do here. I got you. I don't want nothing.
Actually, I'm fine with sweetness, but I can only have one.
Right. But that was my goal. Was like, I'm thinking about trying to get this girl's number at the time, because like that's part of the riz of it. Right?
Yeah.
Like I'm a bartender. I know you got to come to me for the juice. So like,
I was
you have to come
actually
back to you
wondering.
eventually.
That was one of the questions I wanted to ask you actually, because as a female bartender, we don't really, I don't know, in my experience, I don't really pursue men.
No, they pursue you. That's
Yes.
unfortunately
But
at great lengths. I feel like as well.
at great lengths, had
Yeah.
plenty of stories. In
Unfortunately,
that.
uncomfortably waiting after work and kind of stuff works. Yeah, that's
That part.
uncomfortably creepy.
But as a man behind the bar, as an attractive man behind the bar,
Thank you.
how are you with beautiful women sitting at your bar?
I always love it. I always love someone coming to my bar that I think is attractive, because it's not that I'm going to give them extra attention, but I'm going to give them attention that I think is appropriate.
Okay.
Because I don't want to creep somebody out. Obviously, I'm not here to like make you uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I still believe in the art of my job of like, hey, I want you to be comfortable at my bar, and I want more pretty girls to show up at my bar, so I want you to feel comfortable at my bar. And in no way would I ever go out of my way to like hit on someone, but like if there's energy there and I can pick up on it, I'm gonna follow through.
How many times have you
bit.
succeeded?
Girls never tell. I don't know. Would never tell.
You don't have to
you.
tell.
You know
It's
what I'm talking
fine.
about. Wink, wink. No. It is an effective modus for talking to girls. It really is.
Yeah.
Because like they kind of have to come to you, and you're like, okay, good. I don't have to chase anyone down here. I'm not going to make everyone feel uncomfortable, like I said before, but like it is an opportunity to like, hey, I'm going to make you laugh at least, So, and maybe I use my more personal jokes instead of. We always have blanket jokes. Where like, I've done this one for years, and it always works. Of, how's your food so far? Is it fantastic? That's because I made it myself.
Oh my God, knee slapper.
Roll on snare. It works every time. Every time. But like at the same time, there's ones I want to get personal. Let's actually talk. And like, if they're just sitting by themselves, I'm like, hey, you don't want to be bothered by somebody else. I got you. I'll set you up for success.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'll see my regulars that'll be around the bar and be like, yo, who's that? I'm like, leave her alone. She wants to be left alone. Leave her alone. They're like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm telling you, as your bartender and possible psychologist, leave her alone. Just leave her be. Because sometimes girls just want to be left alone too.
Wait for the next one to come in. Maybe we can try there.
Right, exactly. There's a 45-year-old cougar over there in the corner who's looking for someone to talk to. Go chat her up, So, yeah, redirect. Sometimes you got to redirect. There's a lot of. It was a favorite trick of mine. My good friend Dom taught me. If you have two regulars that you don't want to talk to either of them, the trick is to make them talk to each other, and then you just disappear and fade away. Like, Frank, hey, you're talking about football. Tom over here loves football. You guys should talk about football together. And then you just spark the conversation, and you just kind of fade away and go back to eating ibuprofen in the corner and going, why am I so hungover at work? So it really is an effective modus, and really a good tool as a bartender to speed up your service.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's easy to get bogged down talking to one person at a time, where you're like, okay, I'm stuck talking to this person. I'm getting tired of talking to them, and I'm running out of conversational topics because they're dry as toast and I'm bored. So let's find a way. The sun is cooking us. That's fine. It's completely okay.
Me.
It's all right. Should I take my sweater off too?
Yeah, take it all off. So I know, let me get my words straight. Normally with these podcasts or conversations, we normally take a couple of shots beforehand.
Just a couple.
We already had our bourbon on the rocks. We went out to brunch beforehand, just catching up and seeing how each other has been doing. And yeah.
Yeah, bourbon's a great drink. It's a
great drink.
It's the best eye opener out there. I've depended on bourbon for almost 15 years now. And it's never done me dirty, so I'm gonna keep using it until it does do me dirty. But that's where tequila's kind of been creeping in, because there's a lot of great bourbon drinks out there. Boulevardier, which is still one of my classic favorites.
I love a Boulevardier.
Love a Boulevardier, a really nice one. Even a press if you want something that's sweeter, or lemon and limey, or instead of we were talking about earlier, mint julep. For race day. Where everyone's out there, with their big hats and their giant weird dresses and their thing. But yeah, it's not that it's just wonderful. It's just, like I said, it's always done me solid. The hangover's been light compared to other tequilas, and sometimes you have too much Cuervo and you're like, I think I'm gonna die today.
Yeah,
this is the last
we've all
time
been
I'll
there.
Ever drink. Yeah, and then the industry is, this is the last time I'm ever gonna drink, and that night you're like, I'll have 2 more. Thank you. Right, light them up. Perfect. Thank you. Much
I said I wasn't
appreciated.
going to drink before this interview today, and I
No, yeah, first,
did.
yeah,
That's the
our
first thing I
server
thought
was good
about.
though. Our
She
server
was
was actually
amazing.
good.
I was like, I
Yeah,
want to drink with her now.
yeah. Like, sit down and have a chat with us. Come on. We're actually about to have this conversation. So,
Right. Join. Please
yeah,
join.
yeah. She was a gem. So that's good. It's nice to find that too as
It
well,
is.
because there is that. There's always people that are out there just doing the job and not understanding it, and like it's easy just to do the job and go through the motions. That's any job anywhere. But I think I've gotten a love for this industry um, that a lot of people don't get, and it's unique, right? Because to do this industry for a long time, you kind of have to have a passion for it,
You do.
because it'll chew you up,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's so easy to get ground up by this industry because people are difficult, and you're not always going to find that win with people. Sometimes you just have that rough asshole Karen that just wants to dig it in all day, and you're like, oh my god, again. Oh, your medium rare steak came out slightly medium. You're like, fine, I'll get you a new one. I'm going to eat this in the back myself, just so you know.
Right. Thank
But
you. I appreciate it.
yeah,
You're helping
absolutely.
me,
Yeah, yeah,
honestly.
yeah, yeah. No, that was my favorite part about working at a high end bar. I worked at a steakhouse for a long time, like a chop house, and people would just not know how cook temperatures work, and like they'd send back a filet mignon, and the rule was obviously they're supposed to throw it away immediately, and they brought it back to the chef, and the chef was going to throw it away into the trash, and we had them on sizzler plates, so it was super hot.
Yes.
And he goes to like fling it into the trash, and I caught it out of midair. I was hungry as hell. You know, I was a starving 24-year-old. I was like, that's filet mignon. What are you doing? I'm like, absolutely not. And I demolished. I just picked it up and just eating it with my bare hands, and he's just staring at me. He's like, what is wrong with you? I was like, this is a good piece of steak.
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry.
I've been working for 8 hours and haven't had a break yet because
so
I have 10 tables.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The only
Yeah.
time I got a break today was when I went and smoked a cigarette, and I had to choose between peeing and smoking a cigarette, and I chose the cigarette that day. Because more often than not, that's the case in our industry, right? Like, yeah, you'll work a double, and you know it's not even a split double. You're just working a full double, and they're crushed all day. It's St. Patty's Day. I'm working 11 straight hours, and I am not getting a break. I've got 5 tables at a time all day. I'm getting smacked around. People are rude as shit. They're drunk. Table 3 just walked out without paying because they're drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so the only chance I got was to sneak out without my manager's approval to smoke a cigarette. You know, so I'm going to take that opportunity 9 times out of 10. If you're throwing away a filet mignon that's not been touched,
It's a terrible move.
yeah, no, it's rude. Oh my god, so much food waste. But
So,
that's it.
what's been your favorite atmosphere to work in? High end, divey,
so like
corporate.
I've done every side of it. I've done dive bars. I've done high end. I enjoyed high end, but the people are the most difficult in a high end restaurant. So the easiest group and has got to be the dive bar crowd because they're just there to get drunk. You know, they're like, I want a whiskey and a beer. And that's it. And you're just gonna keep pouring them Yinglings and whiskey all day, and it's like this is easy money. But like, if you want to make cocktails, if you want to do something fancy, high end is where it's at. You're gonna be there doing you're a mixologist then. Now you're doing 6 or 7 ingredient drinks, and it's taking you 5 to 7 minutes to make that cocktail instead of 30 seconds. So I'd have to say, if I'm just out there to make money, dive bars all day. But if I'm really feeling in the mood that I want to make a drink, the chop house is where it was at for me. But like I said, it's the only time I've ever had a guest try to put their hands on me. Like
at a high end?
At a high end restaurant. Yeah.
Really?
I've worked dive bars a bunch, and they get rowdy, but you're like, hey, fucking calm it down.
Yeah.
You put on the dad voice, and they just kind of, all right, my bad. But the corporate high-end types do not have that back down, regardless of their inability to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there was a one time I'll never forget it. It was we were in this business park. It was a nice steakhouse. We're in a business park, and we get this buzz from around the watering cooler about a group was going to come in. One of the local companies had sold out to another company, and some of the people are losing their jobs. So they're going to come there and have like a big reception thing afterwards. Some people had some strong feelings about losing their job, so they were getting a little soused. So I was doing my best to kind of manage them, but this guy. So we had what was called a horseshoe bar, which is shaped like a horseshoe, and on the back exit side is maybe 6 feet, and then the kitchen. So like no place to stand there. And this guy just continuously kept standing in the bar opening to the kitchen opening. And I was like, buddy, hey, you can't stand here. And we're rushed. Like, we were 2 bartenders. We went from maybe 3 people sitting at the bar to 3 deep in every direction. Now we're packed. You know,
Mm.
we've got 100 guests in front of me, and I'm like, I'm hustling. It's time to boogie. And I told this guy maybe 4 or 5 times. And I was like, buddy, you can't stand here. I'm tired of telling you the next time it's going to be an issue. And he was like, all right, prick, I'm going to stand here. And I just looked at my manager. I was like, you need to get him because I'm done dealing with him. And she had a conversation with him and this, that, and the third. So I ran in the kitchen, grabbed some food, came back out. And he stepped back into the bar area, which, number one, never do. Never, ever step back into the bar area. That's a dangerous place. So he stepped back in there and he like put his hand out like he was going to shake my hand. And I was like, no big deal, buddy. I know you're probably going through something today, whatever. You might have lost your job, whatever. So I shook his hand and he like pulls me in and he's like, you ever fucking talk to me like that again? I'll whoop your ass. And I was like, huh, okay. First off, he's like 8 inches shorter than me. And I was like, dude, I don't have the time for this. And like I've done a lot of like mixed martial arts stuff in my lifetime. So like I was like, I'm not trying to get into a fight with this little guy and like hurt him.
Yeah.
So I was like, buddy, step out from behind the bar. So I started pushing him back, and I pushed him back away. And he came back and he wanted to swing at me. And before I even thought about it, there was like a tap handle, which is the stuff that goes on the beer taps. It was like right there. And I just went, whoop. And I like caught him across the jaw.
Did you really?
Yeah, 100%. Because he was reaching in to hit me.
Wow.
And I just kind of reacted real quick. I was like, nope, that's enough of that. And he like buckled and like went down. And I was like, okay, that's enough of this. He's done, right? And he wanted to get up and like come at me again. And this big chooch comes up behind him. This guy might have been like 6'7", about 350, big farmer type, and like scoops him up. He's like, I'm sorry about my friend, and like throws him on his shoulder and carts him outside.
That man should have been grabbed his friend.
I agree several times ago. Yeah, my boss just comes up to me. She's like, I got to send you home, dude. I can't. You just hit that guy. I was like, he was going to hit me. I'm defending myself. She's like, I got to send you home. You might lose your job over this. And I'm like, that's kind of horse shit, dude. I'm just trying to protect myself here. But like, she's like, this is the rule, man. If he'd have taken a swing at you, you could have done something. But like, he didn't yet quite take a swing at you. And it was like, he was in the middle of it. I saw it coming. I know how to defend myself. So I was obviously hot because it was going to be my best day of the week. Like my Tuesday was going to turn into a Saturday real quick, and I was going to make $400 or $500. I was like, I'm pissed.
Yeah.
I'm missing out on big money here. Like, this sucks. And she's like, you gotta go home. So I remember like throwing a fucking tantrum about it. I went in the back. I was throwing plates on the ground. I was like, this is fucking horseshit. I was yelling at my KM at the time, Brad. I was like, Brad, you know this is fucking bullshit, dude. This is absolute fucking ridiculousness. I can't go home now. We're fucking thrashed out there. He's like, gotta go, dude. I'm sorry. I was like, what the fuck ever. So I left, went straight to the bar, just started getting crushed myself. Because like in those days, I used to go to a place called the French Club, which is like a private drinking club, which is kind of a unique in Pennsylvania thing. Pay $20 a year, drinks are $2.50. So like I get a Makers and Ginger for $2.50, and you're like, I'm gonna get crushed for $20. I can't wait.
That's like, what is that one in Philly? Is it Pen and Pencil?
Oh, Pen and Pencil. Yeah, I've heard of this. I've not been to myself. Pen and Pencil. Yeah. Like or VFW, a lot of people will go to, or the Elks Club, stuff like that.
Did you lose your job?
I did not lose my job because my manager really fought for me. She was
amazing.
One of my favorite managers I've ever worked for by a country mile. She was a year younger than me. I was madly in love with her. She was so gorgeous. And never was going to happen. She was married to the KM, who's also a guy I had a tremendous amount of respect for. But one of the people that out there that actually just genuinely gave a shit. And in our industry, you come across that a lot where people just don't care. And you're like, it's just a job for you. I get it. I understand, especially on the corporate side of it. You're like, I'm just here paying the bills. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to go home and forget about it, which is fine. But yes, she was just a wonderfully caring human being, and like would do small stuff like, hey, you don't have to clock out, but go home. I'll take care of the rest of the stuff. I'll clock you out in like an hour. You're like, that's mighty big of you. I appreciate that kind of stuff. I was like, are you sure? She was like, yeah. I was like, dude, I'm going to stick around to help you out now just because you did that. The fact that you even offered something like that, you have my loyalty, which is for me a huge thing. I'll give my loyalty to a person who I care about, and like not less than that, because some people just don't deserve that.
For sure, I agree. So I'm assuming, since you went through that whole situation, you have no issues cutting people off.
I have zero issues cutting people off. Don't ever forget that. If you come to my bar top, I will cut you off in a heartbeat if you are not in control of your faculties. More or less for your own safety. There's no reason I want someone to drive home completely blotto drunk. Not that I haven't done that kind of stupid shenanigans when I was a kid, when I was 22.
Well, someone should have cut you off.
Yeah, exactly. Someone should have came to me when I was like ordering my third shot pitcher, of like, hey, I'm drinking green teas by the pitcher and just putting a straw in it and drinking it like an animal. And like no one came up to me and was like, hey, you should probably not do that.
Yes.
And
So what usually
missed.
tells what has to happen for you to cut someone off? Is it their actions, or is it how much you
Yeah, so
serve
it's
them?
a combination, really. I'm keeping a running till in my head of everyone that's at my bar top. I'm a bartender, right? So there's a lot going on. Try to pay attention to as much as possible. And sometimes you get lost in the sauce and you can't. Like Saturday night, that's a tough fight
Mm.
because you're just seeing faces and bodies, and you're like, "Yep, here you go, another drink, beer top. Here you go. Come on, next one. Let's go. Bring it up." And to a point where you just kind of you gotta look at someone in the face. Their eyes are gone. It's really easy to see when someone's eyes is just completely blown out, and they're not seeing the world around them, or they're not able to communicate well. I'll make sure to re-ask you what you ordered every time, just because that was how I was taught. Hey, I want a beer. You want a Miller Lite, right? Heard. I want to make sure that I'm getting you the right object.
Correct.
I want you to get to the right thing. And then I know I have shit hearing because of too much rock music. So it was one of those things of like just becoming habit. So if they're not able to communicate effectively what they wanted again, or if they got to go Miller Lite, you're like, you're not getting a Miller Lite, buddy. I'm just gonna bring you a water, and then here's your tab, and that's gonna be the end of the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, no, I wanted a Miller Lite. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna serve you. And like it's really a finite like moment of just like, no, I'm not gonna serve you. And then I'll just go to my other bartenders and be like, that guy's cut off, and they just go, mm-hmm. Because 99 times out of 100, your co-bartender is gonna be like, I'm not getting in trouble over that shit. It's not
Right.
worth the
I
$3
know
a
you've had a
tip.
fight with someone about that before.
Oh, many, many times. Many, many times. I'm not drunk, man. What are you talking about? If you're going to sit here and argue with me, it's a telltale sign that you got a lot of balls that you ain't had before in this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, that's part of the engaging people thing, right? You're checking people where they're at, right? So if I'm having a conversation with you and you're not keeping up immediately, I'm going to be like, that's a red flag. I mean, you get like two of those before I'm like, nah, I don't want to deal with this guy. And sometimes if I'm lazy, I'll just go to my bar manager and be like, hey, this guy's an asshole. You want to cut him off for me? Which is an easy job to do. Hey, you make more money than me. You're doing the work. Sorry,
Yes.
that's how it works. But, like I said, when it comes to me, I have no problem just being like, I'm sorry, buddy. It's Saturday night. I don't have time to waste on you. I've got 300 drinks to make in the next 15 minutes, and I'm going to make every damn drink.
And you're never going to see them again.
Never going to see them again. And that's fine with me because, like, you're getting like 5-second interactions with those people on nights like that. And to the point of where I refer to it as amateur hour. Like Friday night, Saturday night is amateur hour because it's all the people who don't know how to drink coming out.
Yeah.
All the 9-to-5ers who don't know how to drink in this industry like we do, right? Like it's very common in our industry. Like we get done at midnight. What's the only activity we can go do?
To the bars.
Right. And to find another bartender that we like that's going to give us the same kind of treatment that we give our guests, and takes care of us. And we're going to get sauced in 2 hours because we're professional drinkers.
Yeah.
And we're going to put them away. You're like, oh, we're going to do 2 shots right now, and then I'm going to have a beer on the side, and then in another 15 minutes, I'm going to get another shot.
You literally have the whole itinerary planned out.
Oh, yeah. Before I even get to the bar. Like, it's a 5-minute drive from the bar I'm leaving to the bar I'm going to, which is usually, it's only a 10-minute drive home, because I try to plan locally if I can, thinking ahead, and go like, okay, I'm going to stop here. I know Jamie's working tonight. I'm going to go see Jamie. Jamie's going to take care of me. And if Jamie's not working and I'd say it's her night off, I'm going to go to this bar. I know Frank's going to take care of me.
You have any like bartender you want to shout out right now?
Let's see. Over the years, Kelly for sure. What's up, Kelly? The Irish girl. She was my killer mom. She was like 52 years old, and she was still grinding it out. Oh my goodness, Becky. God, I was 22 years old. This watering hole in Washington, PA. She, my first time, I ordered this complicated pain in the ass drink. And she's like, how about a shot of Fireball? You're getting a fucking shot of Fireball. And I was like,
what did you order?
I don't even remember. It was so long ago at this point. It was some kind of drink I had seen on like the internet. I was like, that sounds pretty good. And she's like, I'm fucking making that. You're getting a shot of Fireball. Here you go. And I was like,
but you could have gotten that somewhere else.
Yeah,
it wasn't like a,
it was a place called the Brew House. You know what I mean? It's a shot and beer kind of joint anyway. It was my fault for ordering something like that.
It was.
In a place that I wasn't experienced at. And she was, I think she might have been 60 years old. But like she was still just grinding it out in this industry, doing a great job and like not fucking around. And I love that she was so spicy. I was like, show me to fuck myself. And I was like, this lady's fantastic. I can't wait to come back. And sure as enough, I was a regular there for 4 straight years. You know what I mean? Like, me and my friends was there, and right across the street was a place called the Keystone Club. And we would drink there till 2 a.m. We'd go across the street to the Keystone Club, which was open till 4:30, and just get completely trashed. And then we go to my buddy's house and we just sleep there for a couple hours, wake up, go back to work. And like we would rinse and repeat that 3 or 4 times a week.
Sounds like the life.
That is the life, right? That is the life of what we do. And like you find some really great ass people just to cut up with and have a great time. And a few people that get our sense of humor, because usually our sense of humor is a little bit dark. And that people that just get our humor, and like you surround yourself with that, and it's so much fun. You're just having a riot the entire time. You're like, how did I ever leave this lifestyle? I'm having all the fun all the time. And obviously there's things that accompany it, but you try to avoid the police as much as possible. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. I have, knock on wood, successfully avoided the police this entire time, so I'm gonna keep trying that. But
yes. Knock on that wood again.
Yeah. No, now we're in the phase of like, you can't catch me, I'm in an Uber.
Yeah.
Gotcha, fucker.
You're in the city now. You're in an Uber.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna take the SEPTA. We'll be fine. I got it figured out now. All right. I'll bike home before I let that guy get me. Come on.
So, as a bartender, what is your superpower? Like, what makes you a great bartender?
Being able to see people,
ramble off a whole list.
Being able to see people exactly where they are and kind of like matching and mirroring them, which is like a good communication tactic I learned from doing door-to-door sales. Of like, you kind of see people's personalities and you kind of match it a little bit. Like, all right, he's got this level. Let me kind of bring myself down to his energy a little bit, and then I'll turn it back up to my energy and bring him up to my level. Because then they're gonna be like, this guy's fucking, this guy's wild, this guy's crazy. I don't know, he's got me laughing now. I'm like, yeah, I know, right? Have a good time. Because that's my firm belief, right? Like, life should be enjoyable. It's easy to let life get you beat up, and especially in the world that we live in now, where there's so much bad shit that's happening around us, to like unplug from that stuff and let loose a little bit, and like not let yourself get destroyed by it, because life's so acidic that it can just tear you down at any moment. So like that's my superpower, is being amazingly resilient to that kind of bullshit. Like, yes, I'm very aware of what's going around me. I stay very up on politics and in the world of current events, and I'm very well read. I have a degree. I was a teacher before I was a bartender. I was a school teacher, I was a history teacher of all things.
What?
Yeah, I was a history teacher before I was
literally while we were out to eat. He's just had so many lives he's lived already.
Oh yeah,
35.
35. I was a school teacher and a pastor at the same time, like a youth pastor. So yeah, it was a real weird dynamic of like, you want to care for the people around you, and I think that's always been part of my heart. Is just take care of the people that are in front of me, and be tied in, see what's going on around you, and again, meeting people where they are, and trying to help them out as much as possible. At least if only just to make them laugh, because that's, if I can brighten your day for those like 5 seconds, maybe that was the important part. And it comes from this moment that happened when I was in high school. This girl, Amanda Bundy, she came up to me. We had the lockers next to each other our whole high school career, and senior year, right before we were like finishing up, she comes up to me. She's like, "Hey, I just want to thank you." I was like, "For what?" And she's like, "Dude, you've just been positive all 4 years, and like every time you've never like been weird to me." Like, she was the Jinko jeans kind of girl, chains on the pants, long black jeans, lots of eye makeup, the whole works.
Oh.
And I was, wearing polos and khakis every day, playing football and being a dork, and playing Magic the Gathering in the background. And she was like, "Yeah, you're kind of the reason I didn't kill myself. Like, you just being positive and like give me a reason at least. At least I showed up to the school and knew that one good thing was going to happen."
Oh.
And like that was a core moment for me when I was like, shit. That's all you need to do to really affect change in the world around you, is just be 5 seconds of happiness around people that have zero happiness in their life, and just to continue being me. And while my world was dark and there was a lot that had happened to me as a kid, it was not going to stop me from being the person I was to become. And I think that was a big part of it, right? It's just being happy, and that's a rare thing in this world, is finding a way to be happy.
Yeah, that made my heart feel some type of way.
It's definitely
that's
something.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's something that inspires me a lot. So I think that's something I try to carry in every day.
And not everyone has that attribute.
Right. It's a finding your why, right? Like in life, that's the most important part of it, I think, for me, is like, there's got to be a reason why I'm doing all this bullshit, right? Because like it can't just be for myself. That's too self-serving, and I'm not. It feels like masturbating at that point. Like I'm just jerking myself off now. That's not fun. That's not doing it for me. But like, if I can genuinely make everyone's life around me a little bit better, then then my life has meaning, and I want to have a meaningful life. right? It's the real goal. Even if it's not the most happy life or the easiest life,
Yeah.
at least there was meaning and I did good, and I can stand before God at the end of my life and go, hey, I did the best with the shitty circumstances that I got, but maybe it wasn't enough, maybe it was. Hopefully, at least I made someone's life a little bit better.
Right.
So that's what I try to carry forward.
Does Micah have weaknesses behind the bar?
Behind a bar, nah. Nah. No,
there has to be something about you.
No, most definitely. There's obviously always something. I'm a little territorial about my well. Don't touch it.
I can see that.
But yeah, definitely territorial. If you rob my well, I will have something to say about it. And, Steph, you know exactly who I'm talking about. That's you.
Steph?
Yeah, that's fine. She knows. No, I'm kidding. Steph's good people. Yeah, no. I mean, I think my weakest point is that like I think I can do everything myself. And I think that's a tough thing to be able to like try and break yourself up. Like, because sometimes you just have to ask for help. It's okay to be in the weeds. I don't ever get weeded. Never. Even if the tickets are this long, I'm like, no, fucking back off. I got it myself. I'm gonna do it. I don't need anyone's help. And I think that's definitely my biggest drawback is like learning to be like, hey, I need help over here.
Yes.
Because like no one wants to ever admit that, but like sometimes you just get overwhelmed, and that's fine. Because of my personality, I get a lot more foot traffic. And because I get a lot more foot traffic, obviously it's a lot more work. But I also am getting, pulling tips for it. I'm the guy in your bar that you want to be working with. Because, yeah, I'm going to walk out with like 5,000 in sales, and then I'm going to double it up with like 25% in tips because people just keep throwing it at me because like I'm making everyone laugh the entire time.
Exactly. People are going to wait for the bartender they want to talk to.
Right, exactly. And
they're going to take care of you for it.
Right. You can be a miserable bastard of a bartender if you want to, and that has its place, and some people like that. That's fine. I've had a lot of people in my life that are like, I enjoyed that because like after being nice to people all day, sometimes I want someone to talk some shit to me.
Yeah.
Which is cool. And like a service industry bartender, a person who's waiting on service industry people most of the time, is like that. And it's like, okay, I can cut up with this person. They're not weak. They're not going to shy away when I got some shitty thing to say about some awful people that I have to deal with today. They're not going to get like, oh my god, he said something awful. Like sometimes you're just spitting out vitriol, right? Like you just have to like get out all that anger and hate that you have to deal with all day. And you're like, I fucking hope those people get mauled by bears on their way home. I really do. I hope they get a flat tire, they careen off a cliff. I hope their kids forget how to read, and I hope that like everything bad happens to everyone they've ever loved. And you're like, oh man, maybe I didn't mean all of that.
We don't mean it.
No, it's just like you're like I'm just full of piss and vinegar, and I just need to get it out a little bit. And that person's just going to be right across the bar going like, fuck yeah. That's good. That was a good one. I like that. I'm going to use that next time. And it's like, all right, yeah, okay. Because it is comedy, right? You have to take a step back and like, comedy comes from a place of darkness, right? Where like I felt the darkness, so I don't want anyone to feel that way. So I'm going to make light of it and bring that light into that scenario.
Yeah.
So I think that's a lot of where it comes from, like, where you have that kind of miserable person that has dealt with a lot of bullshit. And it's like, maybe I'm just trying to make brevity of that situation because of the darkness of the world, which is easy to deal with. I mean, I completely understand. That's a great way of dealing with it. Getting that kind of BS out.
I agree. So I kind of want to transition into your bar manager phase.
Oh,
just because I feel like a lot of bars I've worked at, I've had bar managers that have literally never stepped behind a bar before, and I'm like,
oh my god,
how are you telling me what to do? But you have all of this experience, and now you're a bar manager. How has that transition been?
Yeah. So I've worked for a lot of places in my career, and it comes down to the fact that I've had a lot of bad managers, and maybe they're not bad people. They just don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like they're not into the game anymore. It's just a grind for them. And that's something that I always caution everybody before they get into this industry. I was actually just talking with my bar back about it because he was talking about making a career out of the industry. And I was like, I'm going to caution you, man. And it was me, my director of operations, and my chef all sitting there talking to this kid. Like, you don't do this job because, it's a whim. Because you're going to get chewed up and spit out. Easy work. You'll be gone in 6 months like everybody else that comes to the industry. But those of us who really love it are going to sit there and be tough about it and, kind of go through the motions of like, hey, yes, it's been a really shitty day, week, month, season. But I know this industry and I love it and I want to be a part of it. So that's where I'm at with it now that I'm a manager. Is like I do love this industry and I want to take care of the people that work for me in a way that maybe some of the managers that I've had in the past have not. And like I said, I can count on one hand the amount of managers that I was like, this is a good dude. Ben, my guy from back in Pittsburgh, absolute stellar guy. Jess, fantastic. Walter, God bless his soul, he just passed away a year ago today. Just people who brought light with them. you know what I mean, into the workplace. Like, yeah, we all know it sucks. We've all been in this industry. We've done what you do, and we were so good at that they gave me this job. And that's something that my chef taught to me a long time ago, and was just like, yeah, I'm so good at your job, they gave me this job. So like, I want to reciprocate that. Like, I know what you're going through, and I'll jump behind that bar and I'll mix it up as fast as you, if not sometimes faster.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to shy away from that.
And we appreciate that.
Yeah. So any of my bartenders know they can call me at any moment. If you're weeded, I fucking got your back, dude. And I'm going to be there to support you. No problem. I don't care how busy the rest of the restaurant is. I'll make a way to make it happen for you.
Yeah.
If I got to lock myself in and kind of sucks because like other departments might hurt from it, but like I've got a special love for the bar, and I'm not going to give up on those guys because I do. I believe in them. I believe in my guys. I believe in my team that like they stuck with me from the beginning. So I'm going to keep giving back into them as much as I can.
Yeah.
As long as they're there, I care about them. And once they're not there, I'll still care about them. You know what I mean? I'm still going to be like, hey man, that door's open. You can come talk to me anytime you want. Recently, a guy that no longer works for us after a couple weeks ago was like, listen man, if you ever need to talk, you ever just need to get through it, you can pick that phone up and talk to me.
Yes.
There's no time where it's like, hey, I stopped being a person today. Because for me, that's the important part. Like, it's easy to be like, hey, I don't care, this is just a job. It's really easy to do that, and I think it's super hard to be the person that digs in and go like, no, I personally care. Let's find a way to invest in this person so they can get something out of it. And sometimes it's a bust, and that's fine. But I'm not going to stop doing what I think is right because the industry will choose you up because of it.
Right.
Yes, it's a business. Yes, we have to do what our job is at the end of the day. But it doesn't mean I can myself just give up on people because like I want to be able to sleep at night. I don't want the industry to be so corrosive to my soul that like, yeah, I became that guy. I became that Greg guy that I used to work for who would just sit in the office watching like YouTube videos while the restaurant was burning down on a Saturday. And you're like, God damn, dude, I get it.
Because you know how that feels.
Right, it sucks. Because like, I needed someone to support me in that moment, and I went back and I saw him sitting in the office watching fucking, it was, I'll never forget, it was fucking Destiny's Child music video, and I was like, what the fuck, Greg? What is happening right now? What the fucking fuck, dude? Like, we're getting our shit handed to us. We are buried out there. Can you please get off your ass and help us?
Was he a bartender?
No, he was just a manager.
Well, there you go. That's like, why he was in the back watching Destiny's Child.
And like, I get it. Like, he gave up because like he got snubbed out of promotion. But like, if you got snubbed out and you're pissed off, then you find a new job. Go somewhere that does appreciate you. But don't like sit there and do a shitty job just because you're pissed off. You know what I mean? So like, I don't let my negative feelings affect other people as best as I can. And maybe that's my toxic trait is like, oh, I'm just going to shoulder it up under this and handle it because I watched my dad do it for, his entire life. But like, no, fuck that. I'm just going to do it myself. I'll handle it.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's part of what my toxic trait is. It's like, just, no, I'll bear that burden.
I have to say, I love how much you elaborate from one question because you just answered like 3 of my questions all from one.
Listen, I like to talk. I'm good.
I appreciate it. It's great.
Good. No, these are good questions. I'm enjoying this. So,
good. I'm glad.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Wait, going back to the bartending side of things, what is your favorite drink to make?
This is going to sound so basic. A beer. No, I've had this joke for a long time because a lot of people have asked me this before. Like, if I'm looking at it from like an actual bartender's perspective, my favorite drink to make is the one that gets me the most money for the least amount of work. And like, that's just from doing the grind for so long. But if I really had a favorite drink to make, probably a bee's knees. I love the honey and
I don't think I've ever made a bee's knees before.
It's super good. Go ahead. Go home when you go home. Get yourself some honey and you'll be fine. You'll make it happen. Yeah, it's an absolute banger. And mostly because I love to get drunk off of them. And it's a really light hangover, but it's a perfect drink. It really is. Definitely an excellent springtime drink if you get a chance. So,
yeah,
springtime rolls around. Make sure to make yourself something like that. You'll be fine.
I'll
send you my recipe. There you go. Yeah,
please do. I'm always down for trying new drinks.
Hell yeah, of course.
Bartender life.
Yeah. That's a classic. That's a good one. Or I do really, if someone, my favorite drink honestly to make for a person is something like they'll choose a liquor. And I'll make them something that I think is an excellent drink from that category. And I always sit there going, how do you like it? Was it good? I nailed it? Fuck yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go in the back and do a little celebratory dances. Looks a lot like that. Do the happy dance together. No, it's the hips and the finger guns at the same time. So.
Cute.
Yeah, it's very much like a ska music, which no one knows anymore because it's dead. And yeah, just stupid dances. Lots of stupid dances.
So do you miss bartending? I mean, I know as a bar manager, you get to hop behind the bar and help your
I get to pick and
team
choose
so
when I
far.
want to. Yeah. So it's a cool thing where I get to like pick and choose. Like, hey, now's the moment where I'm gonna hop back there and like they're in the weeds. It's time to be a superhero. That's on the chest. Let's go. But yeah, I do. I miss the ability to just go in, work my shift, cancel it out, and then when I go home, don't think about it anymore. Because like when it comes to management side of it, especially when you care, like I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna think about what I can do better because I want to make sure that I'm doing a good job for my guys. I want to make sure that like these people are my charge. You know what I mean? And the way I view it is that like God has given this unto me. I need to do something with this that is like reasonable. Like I need to make something happen. Like, because if I'm not taking care of it, then what the fuck am I even doing this for? Like it's embarrassing to me to not give it my all. So yeah, I do miss bartending. I miss being able to take my brain out and make a bunch of drinks and going about my day and not worry about the bullshit that happened. I'm not gonna go home and be like, that guy pissed me off today. I'm gonna go home and be like, I made like $400 today. I can't wait. All right, I put the TV on time.
It's not the money, but it is the money.
Right. Yeah. Because I'll put it this way: as a bartender, I worked 32 hours a week, and I was pulling home like a G a week. That's great hours for the money. You can't beat that anywhere you go.
Nope.
And as a manager, it's like I'm going to work 60 hours and I'm going to make just about the same after taxes. And it's like
and more responsibility.
A lot more responsibility and a lot more work, a lot more hours. The hours are easier. My knees don't hurt as much at the end of my shift, for sure. But I'm also not having to rush my ass off the entire time, going back and forth. Like, we need to drink. We need to drink. All right, I got you here. I got you there. I got you there. But yeah, and it comes down to organizational skills, right? So, and time management. So, when you're bartending, you can be like, I got 9 people at my bar that are in front of me that all need drinks right now. But like, you're number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll get you guys in that order.
And as long as you're communicating with them, they understand. They're like, okay, he's at that person. I'm coming up.
It's super easy as a bartender to avoid the eye contact because you're busy. So it's one thing you'll see us do a lot. It's like, if we're not making eye contact with you, yeah, we're fucking hustling our ass off. You know what I mean? And it's an easy mindset to get into. But the trick is, if you look up and communicate with them, you're making your job easier.
Yes.
Because you're like, hey man, I'm going to get to you guys. I promise you. And then all of a sudden, everyone goes from being lean forward, tapping their card on the table, to going, he's busy. He got shit to do. I get it. I'm not going to hassle a guy at work. And
they probably don't know.
Right.
They haven't worked in the industry before, and they're not understanding the process of being a bartender and getting to the next guest.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of patience that comes with it, right? So you have to have patience to be able to do it. But like, communication is the important part of it. I mean, it's the one thing that makes the entire world go round. If you're not communicating, then like, you're not being a part of the human condition.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not being a part of it,
you make it life harder for yourself.
Right. By not talking and like internalizing everything. And it's easy to just shut down and internalize it and like look down and keep your body language, cowed. But the real trick is just to open up and like say, fuck it, bring it on, man. Like, it happened to me. I'll never forget. I was working for a certain golfing company that is on the top of the industry. See what I did there? It was like we're maybe 2 months into open, and we're at a 4.5 hour wait, and I've got drink tickets that are literally from the printer down to the floor and across the bar. And I'm like,
so much fun.
Fucking weeded. The other 2 bartenders called out, so it's just me and this guy Chad, and he's like 55 years old, and we are getting fisted. It is awful. I'm like, we're 4 deep at the bar. The entire dining room is full. I've got drink tickets from the entire tea line that are in front of me, and they're all different cocktails on every drink, on every ticket. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm making 4 different drinks per ticket, and I've got 50 tickets. That's 400 drinks. I'm done. I'm so done. And the guy behind the bar, who's my manager, that's trying to help me out, has never been a bartender before. He's like, I got all the beers, dude. I'm gonna make all the beers and the wine. So I was like, thanks for taking all the easy work. I appreciate you. But thank you for the help, genuinely. But like, in those moments where you just kind of lean back and you're like, fuck, dude. I looked at the guy next to this guy leaning across the bar looking at me like trying to get a drink. I was like, this is a fucking nightmare, dude. And he's like, are you okay? I was like, I am very fucking far from okay. And he just kind of chuckled, and I was like, what do you want to drink, man? Fuck all this shit. I don't even care. I just stopped doing the service drinks for a second. I was like, what do you want, man? Because we shared that human moment. He recognized what was happening around me, and he was like, there's just the two of you guys back here? That sucks. There must be 1,000 people in this building right now. And I was like, 1,700 actually, but thank you for saying you know this thing. And he was like, wow, that's rough, dude. I was like, yeah, man, what do you want to drink, though? And like, I remember not even ringing it in. And we can't fire me now for saying it. Haha, fuck you guys. But I remember not even ringing it in. I was like, dude, don't even worry about it. Because like, they're going to make $35 million this year. I could give a shit less if you got this drink for free.
Right.
But like, thank you for being a human in this moment where I was like getting crushed. You know, so like, it was one of those moments of like, it sucks, but it's also uniquely cool because there's human beings that just actually do get it. You know,
Yeah.
so.
So, important question. Are you more of a service bartender or bar top bartender?
For a long time, I was a service bartender because I just didn't want to talk to people because the industry grinds you down a little bit. And then I got back into my game, but I've always been a people's person, so I'm always a bar top bartender. You know, I want to be up there. I want to be talking to the guests because I'm going to do a better job than anybody else's personality. I know what kind of personality I've got. I know what my heart is. I know who I am, and I know how I'm going to make these people laugh, and I know I'm going to knock it out of the park. So I got to say, I'm a service top bartender for sure.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Definitely have my moments where I want to be like, I'm too hungover, I'm going to be on service well. But like most of the time, it's I want to talk to the people.
Yeah.
Them, you know, because I'll go home and then power down like a robot and not even talk to my roommate or something like that. And be like, listen, I'm going to sit over here. I'm going to look like I'm pissed off all the time. I promise you, I'm just decompressing. It's really just that. And then I'll go online, play video games, and yell cuss words at 14-year-olds. Not even feel the least bit of sadness at all.
I don't do that part, but
it's lots of fun.
I've
Give
heard.
it a shot. It's cathartic. It really is. You're like, you know what? Your mom. I'm gonna fuck your mom. And you're like, at the end of the day, you're like, all right, maybe that wasn't the right thing to say, but it made me feel better in the moment. So
someone's gonna recognize your voice and be like, that was that man.
That fucking guy. That
was him.
That guy actually did fuck my mom. It's crazy. And you're like, sorry, guy.
Micah!
I try to avoid the moms. Not because I don't think they're attractive, it's because, you got kids to deal with. I don't want to fuck your shit up worse by being an asshole in your life.
So, I really, I could literally talk to you for hours.
Yeah, we can
I feel like
yeah, it's good.
We had a lot to talk about today.
We did, yeah, we went through a lot.
I think you had a lot of insightful opinions.
I'm glad that you feel that way. Good. I'm glad. Good.
But I do need to know, what is your piece of advice you would give to someone who's just starting out in the industry?
My piece of advice to someone just starting out.
How can they become a Micah of the industry?
Get out now. No, I'm kidding. No, real rack. I'd have to say, really just dig in and take it seriously. I know it's so easy to be flippant about it because at the end of the day, like my manager said to me when I was really just learning it, it's just pizza, salad, and wings, dude. Don't get bent out of shape. And remember that, yes, at the end of the day, it's just food and drinks. Like, don't get bent out of shape about it. But if you really want to make it, take it a little bit seriously. Just give it the slightest shred of a shit, and this money will flow from you. I promise you. It really will. Like, show up, care about doing a good job because it reflects upon you, not because of the company you work for or the restaurant that you're at or the people that you work under, but entirely because, like, my good work reflects upon who I am. And I promise you at the end of your night, you're going to sleep like a baby every night. Works every time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any last words before I wrap us up?
Go
Anything
Steelers.
else on your mind you got events about?
Go Steelers.
I'm your therapist right now.
Yeah, I'm therapist off. No, no, I do a lot. I'll do a lot to take care of myself. That's an important thing, right? Like, make sure that, because this industry is so acidic, make sure that you're taking care of yourself on the outside of it, right? As dumb as it sounds, yoga. You know what I mean? What a fucking stupid thing for me to say. But like, just something for 30 minutes a day that you take your mind out and just breathe and bring yourself back to a place of mindfulness about yourself and the area directly surrounding you. And get after it. Do something. Take care of yourself. Put yourself first a little bit. It's okay to do that.
Cool.
Yeah.
High five. This is a great conversation.
Hell
Thank
you.
you.
No problem. Of course. I'm glad we
You're
could have
amazing.
it. I'll stop.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. We are going to wrap up this episode. Oof, I haven't worn a dress on here yet.
My goodness.
I'm
blushing.
We're going to wrap up this episode. I had a great conversation with Micah. I don't know if you can tell. Thank you.
No problem, of
I'm
course. I'm
literally
glad to be a
so
part of it.
happy that we had this.
No,
that we
this is
did
great.
this.
This is fantastic. I had a blast doing this. So
Awesome.
if
Maybe
you ever
we
need
can
a
have another.
guest appearance or something, you let me
Yeah,
know.
for
I'll be
sure.
here.
Season 2.
That's it. Comic
Season 1, I'm
relief.
just
I'm
getting
coming
started.
back. That's it. You know it.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Again, if you have anyone that is an amazing bartender and you think that they would make for great content, or you yourself are an amazing bartender, please hit me up. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, all that YouTuber stuff. Do all that with Barside Manner, and we'll see you next week with another episode. Bye, y'all.
Rock out.